Hey Facebook, hello. This is Shawn, your personal financial coach and founder of Hayes Financial Coaching. And so this is day one of the 5-day series on how to ditch debt and increase your net worth. And so hello everyone. I'm excited about this 5-day journey on ditching debt. And so please come in, say hello, share this out on your page, grab a pen, grab a friend and jump on in. Definitely you want to tune in all 5 days. So it's beginning today, August the 6th, all the way up to August the 10th. I'm going to share with you how to ditch that debt and increase your net worth, and what is net worth, and how do you get those debt monkeys off of your back. And so I'm a firm believer that debt was never meant to be our lifetime partner. So I'm a firm believer that I know it didn't take me overnight to get in debt, and it's not going to take me overnight to get out of debt, but I know the steps that I need to do, and I want to share with you guys. And so on Sunday, we're going to do a webinar. So if you invest in if you invest in the ultimate guide to ditch debt, increase your net worth, you will have free access to a webinar. So we're going to go ahead. Hey, Adrena, thank you for sharing. So you're going to have access to a free webinar. So when you invest in the ultimate guide to ditch debt, decrease your net worth, you will have access to that free training with me. And so we really go in on that training. It will be on a Zoom platform. So I can hear you, you can hear me, I can see you, you can see me. And so it's going to be awesome. And so I want to talk about day one is where you at now, and really talk about what is our obligation, what is a debt, debt, obligation. And so for me, we always talk about good debt and bad debt, right? Is there a good debt or is there a bad debt? For me, if you owe somebody, debt is a debt, but I understand investment, right? And getting to the point where you're going to get a return on investment on the things that you invest in. But if you owe people, you just owe people, and that is debt. And so there's evidence that people are living debt-free lives, right? There's evidence all around there. And so there is results, and we want to get those results. And so day one, day two, day three, day 3, day 4, day 5, we're just going to build on that until our webinar. But you have to first invest in the ultimate guide to get free access to that. And so a debt is an obligation. That means that, hey, you took out maybe a loan, and then now they expect you to pay it back. And so a lot of people say, hey, go ahead and use OPM, other people money, but you got to realize that sooner or later, other people will want their money back. And so we have to be prepared. And so I want to talk about the warning signs when you really in financial trouble, and just saying, I got this debt, now what? Because we all have to take out some loans in our lifetime because we simply did not have the resources. We simply didn't have the money in our bank account, right? And we didn't plan for it. And so we had to take out some loans. Done that, been there, still paying off my student loans, right? And so some warning signs that you are heading in the wrong direction, right? The wrong directions. Your goal over here to be debt free, and you way in left field. And so I wanted to talk about some warning signs that really say, hey, Shawn, I really need to get that ultimate guide. Yes, I really need to get in that webinar. And so warning signs is you pay your bills late. You're constantly paying your bills late. Now, we know life happens, and we know sometimes we're not calendar ready, and then bam, a bill came and you was late. But when you're constantly late on a bill, maybe 30, 60, 90, 120 days and so forth, and you're late on your bills and past due things, that is some warning sign. That is like boop, 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 you need to get help. And so I'm going to teach you also, as we destroy these debt monkeys, how to be calendar ready. And it all goes into the budgeting, but really looking at debt. So all this week, I'm just going to be talking about debt. Debt was never meant to be our lifetime partner. Yes, we're going to have to take out some loans if we did not have the money in our bank, and building the strategies how we use other people's money. But again, sooner or later, other people want their money. And so we have to make sure that when we do stuff, we have to have a strategy in place. And we also have to make sure that we are also future-proofing ourselves, right? And so if you're paying your bills late constantly, sometimes we might slip up, right? But when you just consistently paying your bills late, hey, you need to get on board, right? Because then those bills turn into collections. right? Then those bills that you've been late is gonna slide into collection, right? And so we gotta get ready. We got this debt in 2018. And then another sign is you're not a giver, right? That's another warning sign that, hey, you need help because you're not a giver. And when I talk about being a giver, maybe also if you pay tithes and offering and you used to pay it, and now because you're so tight on cash or things like that, that you're not a giver. At one point, as far as, giving gifts for birthdays and Christmas and just anniversaries, you no longer do it. So you are no longer a giver. They say it's better to give than to receive. But again, you can't give from an empty pocket. And so that's another warning sound. Hey, I need to go ahead and ditch this debt so I can be a giver, a cheerful giver at that. And so you no longer be able to give. And if you did give, you give it, angry and you're just in not a good place, And so that is another warning signs when you can't give, birthdays, and you can't pay your tithes and offering, and you can't celebrate the way that you want to. That is another warning sign. Hey, we need to ditch this debt so we can begin to live the life that we truly desire. Another warning sign is you're not a saver. You're not a saver. Yes, you're not a saver. That's another warning sign. If you know that you have debt, you owe all of these types of debt monkeys. And in the Ultimate Guides, I give you a list of debt monkeys, like the credit card, the medical, personal debt, payday loan, the IRS, HELOC, if you do a home equity loan. I'm giving you all of these loans, and all these types of debt monkeys that we need to destroy in our life. And so you're not saving nothing. And so when you don't have a savings there, that means that you're going to create more debt. And so I always say, when you have a savings, it distances you from creating new debt. And so those are some warning signs, 3 quick warning signs to let you know, it's time to ditch this debt. Because number one, I'm constantly being late. You will never be late again if you don't have that debt on your budget sheet, right? So I'm never going to be late again on my car payment because I don't have a car payment. So if you don't have those debt monkeys in your budget, in your spending plan, or in your your prosperity plan, you will never be late again. Number 2 is you're not a giver. You used to give, used to celebrate. Now you can't give. You can't pay your tithes and offering. You can't give, nieces and nephew birthday gift, Christmas gift. You can't, participate in workplace activity, workplace potlucks because you're not a giver. You know how they do, take up collections. And so now you're not a giver. And number 3 is you're not a saver. And so when you don't have that savings, you don't have that reserve, what you're going to do, you're going to create more debt. And so in 2018, the rest of 2018, from August all the way to December, I'm just going to be talking about debt, destroying debt, slaying debt. We got to get those debt monkeys off our back so that we begin to live the life that we always dreamed of. And I was thinking about here today when I was at home, and I was thinking about Christmas Day 2011. I took really sick, and I was going back for a couple of months. I was going back and forth to the doctor and making test after test and I was just being sick and going to this specialist and going to this specialist, and then found out, I had to do emergency surgery. I really had to do surgery. And when you are off work, you only get you get a certain percentage of your paycheck. You don't get the full when you're on short-term disability from your job. And so I could remember, only supposed to have been in the hospital a couple of times. A day or two. I stayed at, a week, about 4 days. I had to get a blood transfusion. It was just crazy. And then the recovery period from my surgery was 8 weeks. 8 weeks, right? 8 weeks to my recovery period before I went back to work. So during those 8 weeks, I only got partial of my, partial of my paycheck because it was, short-term disability. So you don't get the full. And so as I lay in that bed, even though my paycheck was not full, it was half or whatnot, my bills, my debt monkeys was still full. It was still amount. They didn't cut half of my debt monkey. My mortgage was still, the same amount. My car payment was still the same amount. Everything. My student loans was still amount. And so I still had those debt monkeys. I still had those monthly obligations that I still had to pay, even though my paycheck wasn't the full, amount, and for 8 weeks. And so as I've thought about today, and I was like, and sickness do not make appointment for anybody. That's one thing. Sickness do not make appointment. And as I laid there and I prayed, like, I don't want to be in a position where I can't sit there and heal my body physically, mentally, but worrying about these debt monkeys. I got to get back to work because I got to pay these debt monkeys. I can't just recover because I got to get back to a job to pay these debt monkeys. And so debt was never meant to be our lifetime partner. And so if you look at that way, say, I want to sleep at peace, not worrying about that. Hey, if something happens and Murphy and his law show up at any given time, that I have to steady focus on removing these debt, paying these creditors, paying these lenders, because I owe them. It's debt. Whatever you do, you owe them. And so how do you get started? This is how you get started. 3 ways you're going to get started. You got to get serious. You got to get serious. You got to be so mad at these debt monkeys that you would take them out by any means necessary until you get sick and tired of being sick and tired of owing these debt monkeys, right? You're never going to reach your financial freedom of being debt free. And so you got to get serious to the point. We take these Facebook statuses, because we're on Facebook, right? We take these Facebook statuses so serious. We should be taking that same attitude towards our debt. Debt was never meant to be our lifetime partner. And so you got to get serious. I can't get serious for you. You got to determine, I'm serious about destroying these debt monkeys out of my life. Now, you got to remember, it didn't take you overnight to get in debt. It's not going to take you overnight to get out of debt, but you got to be serious every step of the way. You got to be so attention about your money that you already know that it has a plan for it. And then, I'm going to be talking about budgeting, but most of them just talking about debt. Every day, what is debt? An obligation you owe. Whether you sick or if you well, if you owe debt, they want their money. Plain and simple. And you got to get serious. Number 2 is start tracking. Start tracking your spending. Number 1, start tracking your spending, because as we start creating a plan, a debt repayment plan in the webinar, I want to know, where is your money going? Because that extra money could be going on a debt monkeys to wipe it out of your life for good. And so start tracking your money. It is the first week of August. Yeah, the first week of August. Well, second week anyway, that you need to start tracking your money. What did you spend from August the 1st to now, August the 6th? And so you have to start tracking your money. So as we begin to build a debt repayment plan in the webinar, that you can see the money holes. A lot of people says, oh, I can't afford it. But we really look deep and track our spending. We can afford to pay some of that debt off. But it goes back to number 1 is you got to get serious. You guys, like I said, we take these Facebook statuses so serious, we get, can I say pissed off? We get pissed off thinking somebody talking about us. That's the same attitude that you have to get serious about debt. Debt was never meant to be your lifetime partner. I'm going to keep on saying that as long as I have breath in my body, because your wealth is hidden behind your debt. You can't invest because you have debt blocking you. A lot of people says, hey, I want to invest, but I don't have the funds and my credit score ain't up to par. And so your wealth is hidden behind your debt. We got to tear those debt monkeys down by all means necessary. So number 2, start tracking your spending. I don't care the 50 cents that you spent, track it. It adds up. So we know how to plug those money holes and take that money to pay off these debt monkeys. And number 3 is know who you owe. Know who you owe. Know who you owe. I bet you be like, I don't know who I owe. I bet your creditors know that you owe them. And so you have to know who you owe. Nobody better not call me on my phone talking about I owe them something. What? What? And so you have to know who you owe. And so this is so true for me. I want to invest, but I need to find the money. And this is why grab the ultimate guide to ditch the debt, to increase your net worth, and then you're going to get free access to me on Sunday. Free access to me on Sunday, and we're going to have a webinar. We're really going to look at some of the strategies to build in, because it's like, you know what? I see people all the time is that their credit score is on point, but their net worth is still in the negative. And most millionaires do not have $1 million in the bank. They have access to $1 million, or they have $1 million built in their assets. And we're going to be talking about assets. We're going to be talking about liability. We're going to talk about what is net worth. We're going to talk about the whole package this week. This is day one, ditch the debt, increase your net worth. Right, this is day one. We're going to do Monday through Friday, and then Sunday we're going to do a webinar. It's going to be on Zoom, so you can see me, I can see you, you can hear my voice, I can hear your voice. But again, what is a debt? An obligation. Who is the debtor? You owe them. Again, you owe them. They say use OPM. Yes, absolutely OPM, but eventually OPM, other people will want their money back. You guys, we got to get in the plan. When we put up these strategies, we also have to have a plan, like a solid plan, in case life happens, that you're protected, because they still want their money back. They don't care if you're sick. They don't care if you laid off. They don't care if somebody fired you and you got the pink slip. They want their money, because at the end of the day, you signed on the dotted line that, hey, I'm going to pay you back. Right? They're going to pay you back. And so the warning signs really quick is that you need this ultimate guide to help you jumpstart and to be in this webinar. So if you purchase the ultimate guide, then you get free access to this webinar. That's going to be an hour and a half, and whatever we need to do to make sure that we jumpstart you. And so what are the warning signs? Is you're constantly late on your bills, or you like 30, 60, 90 days, 120 days late, and now it's went over to collection. They just sent it to collection, right? And so we want to go ahead and wipe those debt monkeys off. Number two, you're not a giver anymore. You used to be able to give, give gift, pay your tithes and offering. And now that you're not a giver, you can't give nothing. Look, if we did like this, we couldn't do nothing. And so that's one warning that, hey, you are no longer a giver. Number two is you're no longer a saver. Because when you don't save, we create new debt. And so when you have a savings, when you have an emergency fund, it distances you from creating new debt. And so again, how do you start? Get serious. I'm telling you, get serious. Get so mad at your debt that you're ready to take it out by any means necessary. And I thought about this. It's kind of crazy that, our tongue is reckless at time, and I'm not going to say mine is not, right? But we can tear somebody down. I know I got a slick tongue. I can tear somebody down if I want to. I could probably make somebody cry if I want to. I really can do that. This tongue could be slick at times. And so we always say that death in life is in the power of the tongue. And so we can command that debt monkey to be removed. Start speaking to that debt. Let it be removed from your life, because debt, your wealth is hidden behind your debt. Your debt is just blocking you for the things that is rightfully yours. And so we got to get serious. Number two, start tracking your spending. I don't care that 50 cents that you bought that little Debbie cake, log it. So when we begin to build your debt repayment plan, we can plug those money holes and put that over into a debt repayment account, so that you can go ahead and slay these debt monkeys. We're going to be talking about debt for the rest of the year. And then number three is know who you owe. Again, you may not remember who you owe, but your creditors or your lenders know that you owe them. And so when we talk about repaying them back, hey, there's a statute of limitations that they got to come to get you. They get that debt. And so don't nobody call me from 12 years ago, because you don't pass the statute of limitation. So you got to know you got to know who you owe. You got to know your rights, your consumer rights. So we're going to be talking about that. And so that, hey, you know how to fire back at them. And so And we're gonna work this together, y'all, and we're gonna just partner together, and so we can do that. And so again, tomorrow I'm gonna be day 2. We're gonna be talking about some, some liabilities and all that good stuff, and I'm telling you, the webinar is gonna be fire. Again, the same time tomorrow at 5 p.m. But yes, take some time today. Start tracking. This is your homework. Start tracking your spending. Go back to last Wednesday. Was it last Wednesday? Was the first? Look at your bank statements. Look at the bottom of your purse. Receipts don't lie. Track your spending. So when we get together on Sunday, then you at least have like 12 days, almost 2 weeks of tracking, and so we can start plugging those money holes and say, okay, this is what I need to do, because I do have some money somewhere. I don't care if it's $5 that we can pay to a debt monkeys. That's $5 that we don't owe them anymore. You can't open a link. Okay, I will look at that, because once you purchase the guide, then you have access to you will have access to the webinar that I'm going to send the link to on Zoom to your email once you purchase the guide. And so I would check the link again when I close out of here. But again, you guys, hey, debt was never meant to be our lifetime partner. Debt was never meant to be our lifetime partner. And if you've been following me on my personal page, I always say that my only obligation is to love. And I'm on this Romans 13:8 journey. But we got to do some things a little bit different, right? And so just remember, as we journey to financial freedom, remember this. Put it on a sticky note. Put it over your mirror, that it didn't take you overnight to get in debt. It won't take you overnight to get out of debt. But every payment, and being serious, being consistent, and knowing and be willing to sacrifice, you can be debt free. It's evidence out there that people live in debt free life. We can still enjoy life, but sometimes we gotta we gotta do a temporary sacrifice so we can enjoy life sooner than later. All right, you guys, that's all I have. Go ahead and make sure you share this out. Meet me back here on my Facebook page, business page, tomorrow, same time, 5 p.m. We're going to be talking about debt monkeys. We're gonna be talking about all this stuff because we're going to wipe out these debt monkeys, because, those debt monkeys, we dress it up. We do everything. Go take it on vacation, and, no, debt is not welcome here anymore. So make sure you share this out on your page. Make sure you grab a friend, tell them meet Shawn back in here. I definitely would check the link, and I will see you guys tomorrow. All right, I will check the link, and I will check it, and then you can look at it and click it. All right, talk to you guys later. Bye.